Our guest today, John Rubesich. He's the superintendent of the Ashtabula County Educational Service Center, and the treasurer, Mary Gillespie. And we're here to talk about issue 2 on the ballot in May, and it's for Happy Hearts. And first of all, I think we need a little background as to the fact that what the Educational Service Center actually is and why it is handling Happy Hearts now.
The Educational Service Center, well, what people don't know about it, let me back up a little bit. We've been in existence for over 100 years. Previously, people probably remember us as the Ashtabula County Board of Education. And it was in the 1990s that our name changed to the Educational Service Center. What we do is we provide shared services to all of our member school districts. Our districts include Grand Valley Local Schools, Pymatuning Valley Local Schools, Jefferson Local Schools, Buckeye Local Schools. We have Conneaut City, Geneva City, and Ashtabula City that we serve. And what we do, we provide a host of different services for them. It could be school psychology services, psychological services, occupational therapy, physical therapy. We hire many of the paraprofessionals, they were also known as educational aides. We hire teachers for school districts. We run Building Bridges, which is a school for emotionally disturbed students. That's housed here at the Thomas Jefferson campus. We also have the Happy Hearts program here, and this has been the first year for us providing services for the Happy Hearts students. But aside from having a Happy Hearts program here at our campus, we also have 6 satellite programs. Conneaut hosts a high school Happy Hearts program. Geneva City hosts a primary, middle school, and high school unit. Pymatuning Valley hosts a middle school unit, and then Grand Valley also has a high school unit there. And going back to when this occurred, it was about a year ago. Well, it was a little over a year ago that we found out that the Ashtabula County Board of DD felt they could no longer serve the school-age children.
Developmental disabilities. They had Happy Hearts and they had Ashcraft.
Right. And they were also responsible, and they still are responsible, for DD services from birth through age 3. So by law, they are required to take care of birth through age 3 and then the adult population. So once we knew that they were no longer going to serve the school-age population, all the superintendents got together, and there were times we got together with the treasurers for all the school districts too, and we were trying to figure out what would be the best way to serve the Happy Heart students. Every superintendent agreed that because shared services are well within our mission here at the Educational Service Center, that it would probably be best if the Ashtabula County Educational Service Center took over providing the services.
Because if there wasn't something like this, each school district is still legally responsible to take care of these kids. But it's sort of impractical for Conneaut to have, specialty teachers at Ashtabula and pay them all when you can have 1 or 2 for the whole district, and then they can kind of bounce around the school systems.
Absolutely. It's more fiscally responsible for all the districts to participate through the Educational Service Center, because the districts are responsible, as you said, Bob, the districts are responsible for providing the educational component for these students. But if they all went back to their home school districts, they would still use our services, but we would be hiring multiple nurses. We would hire multiple teachers, more OT, occupational therapists, more physical therapists to provide those types of services. So, being fiscally responsible, making sure that we're good stewards of our taxpayers' dollars, the best thing we could do is to provide those services in certain locations. So again, we have the 6 satellites, and then we have the campus here. What many people didn't realize, our school districts, when it comes to school financing, getting money from the Ohio Department of Education, just about every one of our school districts except one is on what's called the state guarantee. So if those students would have gone back to the home school districts, Yeah, they can count them on the rolls, but the districts would not receive any more money from the Ohio Department of Education
Whoa.
for those students. And,
No.
and that's what a lot of people did not understand. So right now, in essence, every treasurer of every school district was not expecting a bill
Right.
that could range anywhere from $300,000 to $500,000, and that's a huge pill to swallow. So that's why that's the emphasis for going after this 1.5 mil levy on May 7th.
Now, there was a levy on the ballot in November, but the way it was worded, because of legal requirements, you really couldn't tell what it was for. It didn't mention Happy Hearts, and there was already a developmental disability issue on the ballot that was primarily going to Ashcraft. So people, I would imagine, I didn't do a poll, but I imagine a lot of people thought that we were voting for Happy Hearts as well as Ashcraft, not knowing Happy Hearts wasn't part of the developmental disabilities anymore.
Going back to November, that was very confusing, and really, I think we did a pretty good job of educating the public, people that we could talk to, but we didn't have enough time to actually get out and tell our story. And then with the DD going after a renewal, it was definitely confusing. We've talked to so many people who said they didn't know really what they were voting for. And initially, when our attorneys talked to the Secretary of State, we were told at that time that we could not use the term Happy Hearts in our levy language for November. But since that time, there's been a change in the Secretary of State, and our attorneys reached out to the Secretary of State's office, and now when people go in to vote on May 7th, they will actually see Happy Hearts program in bold print at the head of our levy language. So that's really, we think that's going to help us. But again, going back to November, if you look at it, we lost by 3,000 votes countywide. So, we thought for the first time in going after it, especially with the Ashtabula County School Finance District, people really didn't know what that was. That was confusing. We're getting our message out a little bit better. It's clearer what we're trying to do. We also reduced the length of time on the May 7th, comparing it to November. Instead of going after a 10-year 1.5 mil, we decided, let's give the public the opportunity to support us, but we're going to say we're going to go after a 5-year levy instead of a 10-year levy, and then come back to the people and say, look, we were good stewards of your money. We did what we said what we're going to do with the money, and we may ask for your support again. But the bottom line is this levy is just for students who are developmentally disabled, period. That money's not going anywhere else.
And if for some reason people did not support this, they're going to see a whole slew of issues from their local school districts that are going to have to hire their own people like this, and it's going to cost more money.
Well, and from the local schools or city schools' point of view, what they're going to have to do is, if this levy doesn't pass, they're going to have to make corrections to make sure that they're balancing their budgets. And what do those corrections look like? Well, the only place the school districts can really save money is by laying staff off.
Right.
So, we're getting the word out to all the teachers in the county, all school employees. We need your help. This levy does need to pass, and it's really for the betterment of our Happy Heart students.
And for people that don't know, you have moved into a really exceptionally nice building, the old Thomas Jefferson. I hesitate to say old because it really doesn't look at Thomas Jefferson School on West 13th Street in Ashtabula. And you've, what's my term? Well, improved, maybe added programs for the Happy Heart students.
Oh, absolutely. When we were looking at taking over the school age program for the Happy Heart students, we were still at the old State Road building. That definitely was an old building, but it was in good shape. And we knew that we would have to put an elevator in that building because, many of the kids that we have at our campus here, some of them are in wheelchairs, some of them are tube fed, and they're not going to be able to go up steps. So we got some prices. Actually, Smolin Engineering was working on the engineering specifications for an elevator in that building. And we knew that it was going to cost just over $300,000 to put an elevator in that building. Our restrooms also needed to be updated, and we knew that was going to, many contractors wouldn't even give us a price on it because they had no idea what's behind the walls, but we knew that was going to be in excess of $100,000. We purchased this building for $500,000. We wound up selling that building for how much, Mary? $90,000.
Okay.
It just made perfect sense. The kids here, we've done some really cool things with them. They've gone to the Ashtabula Arts Center and they saw the Nutcracker.
Oh, excellent. Well, it's right down the road.
Yeah. We also they had swimming lessons in the fall. They've gone to Brant Apple Orchard. Some of the things we're doing with the older kids, we're experiencing some work-related activities with them. They've gone to the Crow's Nest and they've worked in the kitchen to see what that work is like. We have some of the kids actually working in our cafeteria, helping other students.
And in the office, they help out in the office, deliver mail to the whole building.
They
just went to Giant Eagle.
Oh yeah, Giant Eagle was really a good trip for them because they actually simulated grocery shopping and how much it would cost for
all right,
items.
yeah.
So we're doing quite a few things with the students, and this is just a perfect place for us to be. But we could do more, and that's the other thing. We want to do so much more. We really want businesses in Ashtabula County to kind of step up and help the older Happy Heart students because these students are employable. They have great ethics. All they need to do is be job trained, and these are students who will come and be productive citizens in Ashtabula County.
Okay. John Rubesich, he's the superintendent of the Ashtabula County Educational Service Center, and Mary Gillespie, she's the treasurer. Give us your point of view as far as the economics of all this and how this having this center overlooking everything such as this and why it is so much more efficient than the school districts maybe doing this on their own.
Well, we have a great HR person who really worked hard on putting the staff together here. We have a great staff, and I think we saved money from what DD was spending, and we've really tried to watch our pennies and be good stewards of the money that, we know that the school districts are paying these bills. So we try to watch, and we've used money from the donations that were sent to us for DD. We've used that for like smart boards, some of the field trips. So this is the first year. I really don't know, totally what's going to happen at, what we've spent till the end of the fiscal year. But I think we're doing a good job.
It's almost like a made-for-TV movie was when the DD dropped, Developmental Disabilities dropped the program, and you guys picked it up. It was a snowy day. The county prosecutor's office was making up this agreement. The Developmental Disabilities Board signed it right at the right time, and then the board here had to sign it and approve it. And if not, the county would have lost $1 million.
Just over $1 million at that time. Initially, when that was taking place. And I think what happened was the board members of the Ashtabula County Board of Developmental Disabilities didn't understand the ramifications of that. They didn't know that if they would have notified the Ohio Department of Education, that $1.2 million would have stopped coming into this county. That's money that the Ohio Department of Education sets aside for all developmentally disabled students throughout the state. So our portion of that was about $1.2 million. It's a little less now because there's fewer students, but it may be about $1 million in today's terms that we're talking about.
So you guys we've got like 30 seconds left. You guys got wind of the fact that they weren't going to be doing the program anymore, and a whole bunch of people scrambled to keep the money in Ashtabula County.
Absolutely.
Okay, so the issue again is issue 2, Happy Hearts. And they're doing some new innovative things here in a new building.
And we encourage people to come visit us.
Yes.
Yeah,
I've taken a tour.
Yeah, we'll give you tours.
All right. Mary Gillespie, John Rubesich from the Ashtabula County Service Center. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.